go quickly. I mean, your director's report was pretty brief, so it's good.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah. Probably because of that.
No, I think it's only been a few weeks. All right, call the meeting to order. Actually, you can. Unfocus. It's gonna get started.
I think Todd told me she.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't talk to her. Sure she does.
Being recorded. We should just assume all times. Video's on, mic's on, that's on.
As far as I know,
See, I see.
usually when we see the screen.
Yeah.
it's on.
All right. Any news over there?
I didn't, no, and Monica was supposed to shout up to me after she saw it. It was a
Yeah,
big.
big.
Today.
Headed towards the
Today?
clock.
I don't-
It was on the scanner. Thanks. It's headed towards the clock. I was like, oh, great, indoor recess.
Was it Dorothy? I don't know who it is. It's a team that lives down the way here. And she called here, Monica picked up, and she said, just to let you know, because she was working with the kids outside, that there's a black bill in her backyard, and it's headed this way. Apparently, it must have covered. with
Must have
black
crossed,
bill.
yeah.
Don't know, but we didn't see it.
Really?
Wow.
Did you see it?
No, I've never seen one. Ever.
I always hear about one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I always hear about.
Maybe it's the same, it's just moved down.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that would have been great.
We come to my yard if you don't smoke. Next, just. It's like Sunday. Yeah, 6, we're an hour early. Okay,
How dark it is, it's 6.
I know.
next week. Much.
Just say one.
Okay. October minutes. Anybody get a chance to read it? Let's see, wasn't it? Oh, right. September.
Right, didn't we?
We already approved those.
No, we did not, we couldn't vote on them last week.
Oh, right,
last time.
because we did.
Right.
Because of my faux pas. So disregard October and say September minutes, September,
I motion to approve. September minutes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Friends up there. Hi, look who's here. We were just about to start talking about you.
Just don't sign me.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm here as an ambassador from the Friends. So we've been rolling right along. We've had a successful fall flower fundraiser. We have a few classes in the works coming up. We have a wreath making class, a watercolor class, and also in the spring, I believe there is a tea blending class on the agenda. So some of those will be, there'll be a nominal fee charge for them, others are free for participants. Also today, you may have noticed that there is a huge fundraiser out.
Oh, I did see that.
So November and December, it's online, it should be pretty convenient and hopefully people will get their gifts, and you know, we'll get back to the Friends that way.
It's a great assortment too. I kind of scanned through it, really nice assortment.
Yeah, I think it's very timely and.
It's been posted.
Yeah, we just came out recently, like within a couple hours. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much our updates and that, although we met prior to the news about the town meeting warrant.
Oh, right.
The Friends, you know, obviously, I think I'm free to speak for and say that we support, we supported that article and we would support your efforts going forward as long as, you know, just let us know what you need from us. And we're glad to help.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you guys, the Friends were on board with, but we fixed it, but on board with coming up with some sort of flyer to kind of just get the word out there to remind people to go to the town, especially town meeting, and support the library or whatever. But so you can say that since we don't need.
Temporary.
Correct, temporarily, yes, we will be assisting, so, I mean, we should really, as a group, in my opinion, and with, along with friends, get around that ahead of time, like when we're starting to talk about the budget, when you or we as trustees feel it's appropriate to start letting the public know that, you know, this is gonna be on the, if it's the annual town meeting, whatever, I think that'd be great if we can, you know, however we feel that we can support that and we put a petition or a whatever.
Yeah, and I'm happy to stay for the duration of the meeting because I know that's at the end of your agenda.
Yeah, I mean, we can move it if
My
we need
issues,
to, but,
yeah.
but really, we don't have a lot on the agenda, so it'll go fairly quickly. Thank you for your update.
See,
Nice to see you on the other side.
You guys have been fabulous helping out, joining us.
All right, director's report, Andrew.
I'll move pretty quickly. So, staff. Decided to shift the staff meeting to December. It'll be like held just before the holiday party. It was tough to sync up. It's all right. I'm gonna be sending an email to everybody. With just some numbers. Mentioned the close days in November. All shifts are covered for the month. Yeah. And there weren't that many this month, so that was great. I have mentioned this last time. I'll be out a couple of days this next week. I'm hoping to be remote for the FinCom meeting on the 9th. My understanding is, even though the article's not on the warrant, that there were a couple of select board members that were interested in discussing it with the FinCom. Is that
Yeah,
characterize it that way?
yes, but whether or not they choose to do it at this current FinCom meeting or not, because they might be more focused on
Right.
the immediate stuff that on the
Yeah.
warrant.
And it's not on their agenda, it's posted there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll tune in.
That they did say that they wanted to talk to FinCom about it, but I don't
I don't know
know
if
that it was necessarily this next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not an agenda item specifically.
It isn't.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I'll stay on, I don't know how long. they're-
Well, you can, do you know which select board members those were? You can
I
reach out to them.
I believe it was,
probably Brendan, probably Elena, I would say.
but wasn't it Mike that,
I don't know.
Mike Goddard or Mike?
Yeah,
I don't
Goddard.
recall that necessarily.
maybe it was Brendan, it was either Brendan, I feel like it was a
I feel like
male.
it was Brendan. Yeah,
Maybe you should reach out, to make sure that you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was having trouble figuring out who was talking,
right.
because,
They had something else up on the screen for quite a while.
yeah, and I was doing it on the phone too, so that didn't help.
And so if you saw the article, you can just hear voices.
Right,
Sometimes it's.
yeah, so I wasn't 100% sure, but,
Yeah, I mean, I could reach out. You want me to reach out to the, who you thought was going to maybe speak?
Well, you don't want to waste your time
No.
attending a meeting you're not even gonna be, you know,
right,
recognize that. And, you know, it's off the agenda, it's off the warrant, so
Right, okay.
might be moved at this point, and we should focus on the law.
Right.
The budget.
yeah, that,
Which we haven't even-
that's my guess, is they're gonna wait until after the election, and, I mean, the town meeting, not the election.
No, they don't
Town
care
meeting.
about.
No, that's what I meant the town meeting. Oh, is what I meant.
Let's see, facilities, not a lot there. Had the uninterrupted power suppliers replaced in my office. Asked about replacing the server because it's ancient. It's like, here, 2006. Earlier. So, but he took a look at it and said it wasn't really an issue. So, but I thought, I would just ask. I haven't heard it back, anything about the clothing and textile drop bin back there. I'm not,
It's on the website, but I don't really know when it's gonna.
yeah, I don't know either. I gave him 3 or 4 questions that I want specific answers to.
Mhm.
He said he'd circle back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
think,
they're meeting tonight, maybe he's looking to get his
Yeah.
answers tonight.
I think it's a fine thing, as long as it doesn't turn into, like you said, people, it's full and people just dump bags, or don't feel like, you know what I
Like,
mean?
is the pickup regular? That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
How often is that pickup? We don't want things hanging around the side bins. We don't want people diving into the bin. And my other concern, big concern is, well, who's gonna shovel it out? Who's gonna shovel it out, because we have Steve to do some of our shoveling. but I'm not the company.
That's right.
No, and we
Who
should,
plows for you?
The highway department,
Um,
and they might do it, but I just don't know, so who is exactly.
no, it's definitely a legitimate question, because it shouldn't be Steve.
I mean, at a certain point, if you've got snow in front of it, it's gonna be bad saying.
Right,
right, it's gonna.
Right.
It's a valid concern. I think it's great that it's a good location. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it would probably just be in that
Drive by,
back
yeah.
corner, essentially.
but the concern is very valid. I mean, you've seen these overstuffed bins,
Sure.
yeah, you know, the corner there, it's horrible, or dumpster divers.
Yeah.
People know there's clothing in there, they go in and they take it out.
If we have to like maintain that, like, oh, this stuff is sitting out here, and we don't want it sitting out there, we gotta bring it in and
Lee's camera's looking out that way. Not that I think we could do anything if we saw who it was, anyway.
And, so we'll see, I mean, hopefully they'll get back to me. Budget, 33.5% has been spent after 4 months. It's pretty much where we should be, which is great. Just to sort of tail back to last discussion we had, I saw on the news that National Grid's predicted to go up 62% in their bills. So it'll be interesting to see as we go forward. If it looks like it's on time with this. Better. 60% is pretty high.
It sure is.
And we sometimes spend 12 to 1,500 winter months each month, so. Looking at that. Let's see. 35.3% of the books line spent so far. That's pretty good. I'm gonna keep a closer watch on the programming budget because we're at almost halfway spent through 3%. But that includes the summer. That's usually heavy. So I'm not too concerned. Programs. Not too much on programs. I will say that the conversations in German, they have 14 people at the last one.
Are they all German speakers or are they people? who are-
Yeah, some German speakers, some who just want to practice their German. There's not another club conversation group like that anywhere except in Boston.
Oh, so are these people from other towns?
Oh, yeah, Grafton, Upton, Milford. So, and the friends have agreed to purchase over them a book cart. And so I was gonna let them know that the book cart is $820. So it's about 110 more, but that obviously it's before. The one they wanted was out of discontinued. So this is a less expensive model, but the shipping brings it up. And hopefully in 1 to 2 days, they said they're shipping it out. So it's the German club, they're bringing their own German books, and sharing them amongst them, but they don't.
yeah, that's awesome.
Look at it during the night of the section group, so. Let's see, a
thought it was like 2.
couple of other things, upcoming programs, that Medium is waitlisted. That Friday, it didn't take very long, maybe a couple of days. And then on the wait list, I'm a little bit used to. The Gravestone Girls, there's 7 spaces left in that, but that one's doing very well. Other things you could take a look at, there's the usual sort of book clubs and that we're doing for the month, and the Tara's doing. We hosted our second first grade class today. Mrs. Teagle's class. Mrs. Teagle's class is honestly. Today's class.
Oh, God.
She said that ever since. Just, they were wily. But it was. So we had, we hosted their class today. We're hosting Mrs. John's class tomorrow. And then the other class is on the 17th. So it's. So far, so good. Misco Book Club will be happening, it looks like. I reached out to Jim Mannion and Tara has not reached out to her details. So it's one of these things where she'll go monthly after school. And she's noticing that the 8 to 12 group is hard to reach with the 8 to 12 book club here. So still offer it here, but she's hoping she'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So that will start up. I don't know if that's gonna start up in the new year. My guess is, I believe it was.
Yeah.
We went to Nipmuc Trick or Treat on Monday
I
morning.
helped the costumes.
Oh, did you see the inflatables? Oh,
Yep,
yes.
that was awesome.
I was riding a dinosaur and she was. We brought like 8 bags of like this huge econo size candy. We went through 7 of those.
Wow.
The kids like candy.
And the Upton Library was right next to us and she brought a lot of candy, partly because we.
Was this for little kids or was
No,
it?
it's for the high
For
school.
the high school.
Oh, yeah. They had all
Oh,
sorts of
goodness.
costumes on. There was an Elvis costume.
That's Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
That's Andrew.
And there was a kid dressed as a ketchup bottle. Kids dressed as like flight attendants. It's 30 minutes. 30,
Andrew
35
was on a
minutes.
dinosaur.
That's
great. Yeah, that's great.
And the police departments were there.
You see that, Chuck?
Fire department. Let's see, projects. Oh, so, mentioned the Survey Monkey. We've had probably about 130, 140 responses. Couple things that aren't on here that have happened just in the last couple of days. I sent an email out to the strategic planning committee. Some late November, early December dates for a meeting. So I'm getting responses back. Gave them 3 different dates and just see which one works best. Oh, that's right.
I know, I'm slacking.
I should be available for.
Yes, Allison did. Yes.
Be there because I can go to any, so.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, I keep marking down. And so I've received maybe a few, less than half of them, but I just.
I'm gonna be in the town house. I'm gonna get it.
All right. So there's that. So hopefully we'll be doing the second meeting at the end of the month. December. We are having a focus group over at Misco. Thursday, the 17th. I just have to figure out what the time is now. We were thinking, or at least Jenny was saying, can we do 8:30 to 9:30? It's fine by me.
That's good.
Mary shared a draft of the needs assessment write-up. She sent a needs list. I don't know if you want to go through that now or some other time. It's basically all the needs that were addressed or brought up during focus groups and the public forum.
I think maybe we table that until you get a full summary.
Well, so yeah, so she actually sent me a write-up, a summary today, and then I sent it back to her with just some corrections here. But also some additional content because she wanted to know about technology needs in the next 5 years. So I talked about she hadn't Mark had asked about like 3D printers, so I talked about the maker space types of space.
Space for the makers.
Right, exactly.
Did we talk about maybe upgrading your,
Yes,
because those are all, I mean, they probably should. be
yeah, so the
upgraded
towers themselves, those we just got 2-3 years.
Got those when we opened.
Yeah.
The little ones?
2016.
Was it 2016?
They all were purchased, if you.
Are you
if
sure?
the friends supplied those, they all came. when we
Yeah.
opened.
Because World Band swapped those.
Yeah, we're going to swap something out in
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
Okay, then maybe they
Oh,
swapped
maybe.
those out.
Okay.
Have to go back.
I'll
and get
talk- I
minutes,
can
but
talk
it's in
to
there
them,
somewhere.
Okay.
They
But
did
yeah,
upgrade
when we
it.
came in, there were the towers and that, and I think there were ones that we got as a donation, right?
No, they were, well, we got them through got them through a program.
Through a
so
program,
they were
right.
discounted, yeah.
And then see right behind it, there's like this little.
Yep,
square.
little one, yeah.
Yeah, those
Okay,
all
so
got
those are
swapped out,
Okay.
but like keyboards, monitors,
It was before COVID.
yeah, oh yeah, it was definitely before that, so it's at least So, I can't remember, this isn't right. Oh, new barcode scanners, because our scanners, would like them to be able to scan phones. So, maybe a public use printer copier scanner.
Did anybody bring up, and I'm not saying we have to, but did anybody bring up, self checkout?
Well, all right, so I
I
said to
know
her.
the libraries are
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
said to her that I didn't know if that was something we should look into or not. I mean, we can.
As far as put it, I would put it in the plan, in the request.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
reach back out to her and say, hey,
Yeah,
look,
I mean,
that's,
it's,
we're interested.
other libraries are doing it, and
I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to have.
One,
Yes.
just have one.
Yeah.
The size that we are, just one.
Maybe
Yeah,
you could,
Money.
well, or do, when you're talking like one just down here or upstairs and downstairs or.
I don't know.
Right, we really want the kids. checking.
Probably not, and they would probably mess with it. So maybe down here.
Down here.
Yeah.
Right, and if, if a parent wants to take their kids' books down here and do it, then that's different, but.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, printer, copier, scanner, standalone public use would be good because it's not that we can't help people with printer. Wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I didn't mention the website redesign, but she did have rebranding. So. I need a new app too.
Oh, something, I want, mine blew up.
It doesn't work, and I don't know what happened. I haven't heard from.
Yeah, the app was like gone.
Yeah,
So. I figured. maybe they would have told us.
yeah, that's weird.
And it's really simple.
I mean, his business maybe been under and,
Yeah, maybe it
but
did.
he should have notified you.
Yeah, he really should.
Yeah.
My kid in high school could probably make it worse.
Probably.
Well, and with the website, that was where I was going, was to talk to BBT in Women's or NITMA to see if their
There's someone
kids
there.
could do it.
Yeah.
Think it's a school project or something and try to incorporate it in school. A, it would save on money, and B, it would give them some great experience.
And they could use it in their portfolio.
You could somebody great first do
But that's good.
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
That'd be great.
the seniors,
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
so every year, the seniors, especially at BUT, I know of for a fact, I'm not saying that a Nipmuc kid couldn't do it, but, because they're just as talented, but the seniors at BUT in their shops all have to come up with a senior project. So, they definitely could do something like, in the multimedia group,
Yeah.
a website design or an app design, I'm sure.
So Dave Quinn has a new program started for, start meeting up with your science department.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
I talked to him about that over the summer.
Yeah.
We just tabled the website, which is why I didn't reach out to him again. But yeah, as we said, you reach out to the staff then. I think that's.
Yeah, that's fantastic too.
And there's a number of kids that are already involved in trying to decide on. With
Yeah.
that, that's, Mr. Potter.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
That's great.
I think it's.
Good resources. We could have our cards automatically renewed. That if
Goodness, that would be
Oh, that would be
amazing.
amazing.
That would be, that's my pet peeve.
I would agree.
It isn't.
Because I think mine's been expired for the last 3 years.
It's horrible.
Well, and for me, it's like when I want to do something online at the, remote work or whatever the name.
No, it's library, you explain, go in there.
Well, you can call us.
I know, and I have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever come in person, or I've said it at a friend's meeting, can you just do that?
Let's see. Oh, I sent Mary the Aerith from this year, so she could plug in. Into the needs assessment as well. But once we have that all sort of, what she wants to do is send it to the strategic planning committee so that they have it in advance of the meeting. But at that point, it's essentially. Let's see, town news. The only thing I was gonna mention, because we can talk about the select board meeting, is Brendan Chanel reached out to Townsend Public Library today about their Sunday sponsors program. Apparently they do Sundays and they're open on Sundays because it's sponsored by community businesses. through the Friends organization. When they did it through, well, so initially they were having it done. I think they just kind of promoted it on their own. And then it was left to the town to sort of pick up the sign. So then they had the Friends start the Sunday sponsors. And so their Sundays are covered $300 worth for 4 employees. I think that they're open on Sundays from 5 or something. So he was just looking for ways to
That's great.
subsidize additional hours. So I did reach out to Stacy, who's a Townsend director, and she sent me just kind of a background on it, and then some like flyers and sorts of publicity. And I wrote her back and I said, this is. So
Are any other towns doing it, Gina?
I don't know of other towns. I know some libraries have used. I don't know about outside sources. I know it's they.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unusual. I haven't heard other
So-
places doing that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not something good.
I don't know.
What's that?
Did she give details on how they do it? Like, it's just like coordinate financially, like,
So is it
She
friends
is like a
and
grant then, maybe.
Right, so so what happens is the Friends money, receive the money goes into a line in the library.
Yeah, so it would be a special revenue.
okay.
And then I did send her a couple of questions like, how would that work for payroll, and did that include other costs? Like this,
Lights
utility
and
costs?
whatever, right?
Yeah, most likely the payroll would be that line item instead of what your current salary line is. You
Right.
put that other thing to pay them for those particular
Right.
hours.
Sunday pay.
Right.
So, I mean, it's interesting. I have to look through.
And then we can obviously make sure you can staff it, so we can.
Right.
put it on.
It's right.
Or maybe it's a month. I don't.
Right, whatever. But whatever.
So that was that, and more than that. The directors, did anybody have any questions? As far as the budget report, I kind of went through what I was going to go through. Salaries is running a little behind, we're at 30.4%. Some of that had to do with the summer. Not too out of line. And then our ops right now, we're at 35.5%. And I mentioned. Contracted services is about 50%. That spending slows in the second half of the year. And that's that.
Great, thank you.
so going along real quick, because this is something that I always look at. I looked at your programs. You have 19 programs for the month of November.
Mhm.
I just want to say that the library is only open 22 days in the month of November. No, it doesn't even count. They're open 20 days. So you have a program almost every single day. Just
Yep.
for the record.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important to know.
Yeah, and actually, like, the first grade visits aren't.
Right.
Another 4 programs. And, yeah. Oh, and it doesn't include outreach.
Go to Misco.
In Misco, when I met them, I went to open house for what was it? First grade open house. I don't know, it was back last month, which was great because I was right next to the literacy coordinator over there. So it was nice, Yeah. Yeah, just in terms of what is listed there.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's like 60% lines. Predicted.
62 national grid.
I think they something that approved, right?
I think so. I mean, that's what the flashed up on the news.
So many people are like, because based on that, they're switching their electric.
Right.
Yeah, so it might,
Right, well, then they'll probably scale it back
Right.
because so many people are switching their electric.
Right.
But it's also brought up scammers. that are
Oh,
calling
yeah.
people
Oh,
and
yeah.
telling them that their electric's gonna be cut off if they don't, and they're saying their national grid. It's fine.
yeah, I saw something about that.
Yeah, we keep, I mean, I haven't heard anything on the town level. They're looking at the electric costs, but, since we are the custodians of this building, we should
Is everybody
do our
using
due diligence.
The time in the time?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's using national.
What is that?
I think we'll be all right because our lights budget, typically we don't go over. I mean, we have a cushion there and there's also we need a fuel line. Because anytime, if it just from lights, that if lights runs out, then we just tap it fuel and fuel line is 500. So I think we should be all right. But I mean,
We can get a whole.
Right.
Right, you never know.
and so tabs on, see. The last month was relatively inexpensive, 300. But I know there's 4 months in there. Soft. And it's usually, probably this month, but more likely December, January, February. The other thing I was gonna mention about automatic renewal of cards. So I'm going to a user's, what is it called? Circulation resource sharing.
Oh, yeah.
And they do talk about, patron records and that sort of thing, so ask them, we have an automatic renewal. So they may say, well, what they're trying to do is purge old accounts that people are using, and that may be part of the issue. but-
Well, if we could at least say, yes, renew,
Right,
Right.
that gets
yeah,
rid
because
of.
really basically you're getting a notice, right?
An email, right?
But it's not, you can do anything.
Right, sorry, you're cut off now.
It would be nice, yeah, you're right. It'd be
Yeah.
Nice if there was some sort of like link.
Link, and just say, yes,
Click here and,
click here if you want to renew. And then even if you have to fill out a little
Sure.
Something.
something,
All right, yeah. no, honestly.
can you make a phone call?
Just make it easy for people.
Right,
Because it makes it
exactly.
hard, and if
It
it's
does.
too hard, they're not gonna renew it.
Right, exactly.
Right,
Yeah, why are we discouraging?
they'll be like, oh, next time we go to the library, I'll deal with that, and they don't get.
Makes sense. Oh, yep.
I agree. And you kind of touched base on strategic planning already, right?
Right, yep.
All right, so the last thing on the agenda is something I put on there. I'm a little calmer than I was when I first heard about the select board meeting. But I wanted to put it out here and see what you guys thought about perhaps having a written response to the select board about our disappointment in the process. I think the process was not good. We were not communicated with well. Anybody, we never even saw a draft of the agenda of the warrant.
Right.
And yet we had an article on the warrant. We didn't see drafts. We didn't get communicated that maybe, yes, we should be at these meetings. So this is the things that are, there's nothing we can do about it. It's off it's off the warrant.
Right.
Nothing we can do about it.
Well, can we go to the meeting and stand up and say we want to add it to the warrant?
No, you'd be out of order. So if you had a citizen's petition, a little too late for that, but okay, technically it's not, but you'd have to get 100 signatures to do that for special town meeting. My suggestion is go through the budget process. We put it in the budget like we have the last 11, 12 years, whatever it is. Get all our arguments ready for the FinCom meetings that will come up. We haven't even been approached about the budget season yet.
Right,
It's late.
right.
Usually we've gotten an email by now. And then as a, just in case, prepare a citizen's petition to put it on the annual town meeting, which only needs 10 signatures. But we want it worded flawlessly. We want to get working on that. to protect ourselves from them taking it. Well, so it would be in his budget for the special town meeting. That's where it would get cut, is we'll know ahead of time if it gets cut in the budget.
Right.
But then we'll have this to say, well,
Right, I mean, the document she sent, which, did I send that? to everybody about what was, 18?
yeah.
On that document, it says, ATM for a bunch of, potential earnings. But ours, it just says,
Right,
which is different.
but we know, you've put it in the budget for many, many years, and it gets slashed right before, and there's nothing we can do about it. This time, we need to be
Can I
prepared.
ask what you're referring to?
Yes, so, we have been asking for the library to be open a little bit longer, every, a little bit more each week since, I don't know, there was a big budget cut in.
Yeah, so I think 2010 is when our hours went from 57 down to 30.
Yeah,
Or actually, it went in two stages.
It
It
went-
was 57 to 40, and then it was 40 down to 30.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, so that's been built into the budget scenario each year since to at least get some of those hours back that were lost. We're basically looking to restore hours we have.
Yeah, and most departments are already back to that level, except for us. And we'd also like to make the children's librarian full-time. She does a lot, she replaces Andrew in his absence. And we've been asking for this for many years, like a decade. And each time we think it's gonna go through and it gets slashed at the last minute.
So my concern, not concern, I'm 100% on board with what you're saying, but my concern when Andrew and I were at the select board meeting, to hear people like Mike Goddard and specifically Mike Goddard, only because he's the one who brought it up, like he almost sounded like it was new information to him. Like he wasn't really educated as to what we were asking for, even though Andrew went ahead in front of the select board meeting,
2 meetings before that.
yeah, and presented to them.
And I looked at the document that I submitted.
Yeah,
An
but he
individual.
was asking questions
Yeah,
like he
but
had
he
not
asked
been involved.
questions of a document that, when I went back and, because I read it over again
Yeah.
after the meeting. Things are explained.
Yes,
And it's not. There isn't a lot of gray area,
Right.
I think, that we've been misconstruing. Some of the things that were asked were about the hours and why there's particular set of hours, and I try to say this is one scenario.
right. So they were kind of getting hung up on little parts of it that didn't necessarily even matter. Like the big picture was, we're looking for 10, is it 10 hours?
Right, yeah, so the 10 hours, which, and I'm not sure that there was an understanding that the 10 hours really just gets us 5 hours, right?
Right, 5
Because it's
hours.
five for upstairs and 5 for downstairs
Yeah.
during particular time. What we're saying is, you give us the 10 hours so that we can do an additional 5 hours, we can actually stretch that into 8,
Right.
And we believe, based on the schedule that we have.
So they weren't understanding that. They were getting hung up on making Tara full-time and couldn't figure out how that, broke out into now the library's open more hours just because Tara's full-time. So, and then they,
And then there was
they,
some.
there was like, they
some
just
getting
didn't
hung up on
get it.
program statistics too, like
Yes,
somehow it should be program statistics that are guiding how or how, like, the extended hours that you would have,
right.
which is not really the case. It's about access. It's not about
We've given
when are
plenty
our
of
programs and when is this,
Right, it's about the patrons having the
Yeah.
extra hours, different hours to be
Sure.
able to access the library.
My question is, why are we just asking for 8 hours? Should we be asking for more? this
I mean, I think
coming-
that's up to
coming
you.
spring?
It's,
So for me personally, the schedule you proposed, I don't like swapping Monday for Thursday being closed.
I-
I think if we're gonna do it, we're open every day. And that's what we asked for, because that, I would get hung up on that. Wait, you're closed Monday, well, why is this that much different? You're gonna be closed Thursdays, but you're trading one for the other. Let's just go in, here's what we want. We want to be open X, Y, and Z hours every day. And whatever on
And
Saturday.
I try to
And
be
that's
clear
what
that
we
the
asked.
issue for us, for sort of swapping Thursday for Mondays, we occasionally have Thursday programs, but it's not like we can't, you know, put those programs in at other, days. But that Monday used to be a really high volume day for us. And so that was what we were trying to do. But if that's the direction you want to go and you want to think about having, the Thursday as well. Thursday, it's-
I agree. I thought, I was like, why aren't we gonna? open? Yeah, we want Monday, but we want.
I want to
we already
I
have.
don't want to lose Thursday.
Yeah, I don't want to lose that.
I'd like Thursday to be a little more logical in
Agreed.
terms of like the hours that we.
Oh, yeah,
open.
right.
It's 3 to 7, it's a little,
Why don't we attack it where we want to be open 10 to 7, 5 days a week, and whatever days on Sunday, 10 to 2 on Saturdays, I mean, on Sunday. And then it's just consistent across the board, and this is,
Or maybe less on Friday because a lot of people are on
Right.
Friday night.
maybe we only open till noon on Friday, I mean,
Five.
5.
yeah, it
you
could be
know.
like 10 to 5. and then
Right,
other
right.
days are 10 to 7,
Right.
10 to 2 on Sunday.
Then you get your
I'm-
consistency.
However it plays out, I'm willing to, obviously, put together the scenario that states
Right.
this is what we want to do.
And plus,
This is
if we
what
ask
what we want
for-
to do.
This much and they only give us this much,
Right.
you know what I mean? Maybe it's a little compromise, but we figure it out.
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's been my experience that they're gonna ask you to take action. They don't even give you cats. So,
Okay,
and I think that might be why we
Yeah.
tempered
We
it.
hedged it because
Because-
they asked to,
If you ask too much, they're just gonna say nope, and they won't even consider something else.
so maybe that's, I feel that that's one.
I think it is too. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We should be open 6 days, whatever amount of time that is for those 6 days.
Right.
If Monday seems to be, used to be a really busy day, then maybe we close earlier on a different day,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
or open later. I don't really like the 3 o'clock. I don't know.
yeah, that's kind of weird. I agree.
I mean, I don't know when they're gonna come to us with the budget or first,
Yeah.
budget for the year. If we can nail down what exactly the hours are, then that's where I go from. That's fine. I'd be perfectly happy with that. We were open Monday,
Yeah.
through Saturday before, relatively regular.
But I have to say, because when the town administrator was going through the articles, she definitely was kind of like brushing over. Article 9, library, blah, 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 I think you should go here. Article 10, senior center, I think you should go here, blah, 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 blah. And one of the select board members said, wait a minute, can we go back to article number 9 about the library? And I have some questions, is Andrew on? And then we started a discussion, and Andrew and I kept the discussion going, like, it was a pretty long,
It was.
considering it was a small piece of the warrant, it was a pretty
Right,
decent
of all of the
discussion. on it.
articles, that article had the longest amount of discussion.
Right, so we got them thinking, and there's definitely a couple of them that I think are definitely on board with us, I know Brandon is. I'm not sure about, all of them, but,
Do you think they would hear us more if we presented a proposal that was, this is what we want to be open. We would like to supplement, hear me out, Saturdays with sponsorships from the Friends as an idea. We think we can cover X, Y, and Z hours with maybe senior volunteers, or, with a partnership with the senior center for that piece of it. And we present it as a package of, look, we are trying our hardest to pull in other resources, so we're not asking you for this much here. But we're at, so we are asking for more, but we're gonna get some of it from here, we're gonna get some of it from here, we're gonna meet our end goal. But, if we attack from that angle, like, hey, we're not just coming at you looking for money. We're looking for
Yeah, that's a good
overall
idea.
solutions of how we can make this work, and we're gonna try to, you know, figure it out from a lot of different angles versus just saying, hey, give us some money.
Right.
You
Now,
know,
whatever permutation it takes, it's, you know, whatever we decide, that all goes in the scenario. So, I mean, if that's the way we're gonna attack it, or we think so, that's the attack it. Fine.
I've also asked Andrew, in conversation with him about what area libraries, how many full-time people are in
Right,
those
and I mean,
libraries.
just that's.
We have one.
that's the-
We have one, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And,
I would, I know for example, Upton has 3, I think at least.
Blackstone has at least 3.
Yeah, and I think Oakdale has at least 2 or 3.
and how many of their children's librarians are full-time? All of them.
Yes.
We need this kind of, data.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's, you mentioned it to me, and that's something we need to do. I'll find out just the area of Blackstone initially. I'll figure something.
Who is your select board representative to this one?
We don't know.
I'm sure it would be.
I don't know.
Do they know they should?
Yes, they do know. Well, they talked to, and when they first became this 5-person board,
Mhm.
they were all supposed to take boards they were interested in. I don't know how that played out. No idea. I don't know who's supposed to be the library rep. Well, I've been on this board since 2015, 15. I've never seen a select board member.
Right.
He was here once.
In the old library, eons ago, Rich Schofield came to one meeting, and I forget why.
Yeah.
Do not remember why, but that was the one time in the 9 years that. I was.
And it's an issue because they don't understand what the need. They don't understand it because they just feel like, oh,
So the-
for money.
They're currently, the good thing is that there are a couple on the select board now who have, I've seen here in the library
Yeah,
come in.
they are patrons.
Which is,
Yeah.
yes, and use
Right.
the programs.
Right.
Or they come in to check books and that sort of thing. That's great because that wasn't the case.
On their third, further school. It's like, which is. Perhaps this is the budget subcommittee, so first and.
So it should be.
But it's like, mom showed up, fantastic, Brendan was there, we were like, wow. And in comparison to.
And then have to post that way.
It's like 8%.
Yeah.
That's-
We know.
More information, but they just zero participation.
And then it's reactionary.
Yeah, but this time they're actually showing up, so it's a difference this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to, just to put that in perspective.
Excellent.
Yeah, so maybe overtures towards. Maybe parties.
Even if they participate like, you know, once every 3 months or something.
Right.
like That's appreciated.
Right.
Then you've got.
At least watch our meeting to do something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay. You know, give them or to you, or, you know, like.
What I hear every single time we talk about this is all the programs that we're on, all the attendance are being, in fact, it's very low. I'm just thinking of this. Libraries, in fact, it's- See
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, they
yeah.
just don't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I do think there's a disconnect.
Yes, yeah.
And
And while
if they're not gonna use it, well, they use it, right?
I like the idea of community partnerships and things like that, and I'm not being a contrarian because of friends supporting financially extra hours and things. It doesn't seem like it's parity with the other town departments. We're not having big sales for any other town department. We're not having friends group support. police department hours, DPW hours, or any other thing, I think it somewhat weakens. It could just be being a grumpy contrarian, but it somewhat weakens our position. Like we, you know, I
No,
know,
I absolutely.
I know
understand
in
what you're saying, because
reality, we have to approach things a certain way, but it kind of rankles me a little bit that we have to go hat in hand every single time we get kicked in the face.
And the issue
Rejecting.
is where is the town's responsibility?
Precisely.
Because if we decide to pursue some alternate funding sources, that's essentially saying, okay, fine, and then.
And then they'll say,
You're not responsible, and then state aid gets
But
affected
didn't they
because.
come and ask us to look at one? Wasn't that a selectman who came and asked us to look at that program? Not Brendan? Is that what you said? The one that-
Oh, right, yes.
He came to us and asked us to look at that.
Right.
Which is.
Responsibility, chief.
Right, well.
Yeah.
And he did copy the town. So he knows that that was something. Did it. Okay, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and say,
No, I mean, you
"We're
take
gonna
all
do
the
this."
good
And then-
graces,
then-
yeah, but at the same time, just saying.
I mean, it's a little bit like, for example, having 57 hours.
You listened to me when you were enough about this.
I had to knock the hours down to 30 and then never get them.
Never get them back.
Right, essentially, because, you know, according to them, everything's fine. Yeah, or you're doing fun with what you do. So as much as those are opportunities, I agree, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Right.
And.
And I am vehemently against using state aid.
Yeah. no.
That is rainy day fund, not operating fund. Right? That's not something we say, oh, we're gonna pay to open up the.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, the state and BLC says that we have to be supported financially to a certain extent in comparison to all the other departments in town. So if the state is saying that that's important, that the town is doing their part and putting in for the library, then clearly they have a responsibility. You know, and I don't mind doing that. I just think that if at some point that revenue source washes out, what do we do to replace it? We're stuck again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, you might get a sponsor and they might pull their sponsorship. You know, and
Exactly.
I don't see them asking other town departments to go find your own funding somewhere.
Well, I mean, in terms of Townsend, they got, so it was a benefactor. She said, hey, I'd like to, we talked about Sundays, people want you open on Sundays for the reason in Townsend. So that benefactor said, okay, absolutely, but they had a finite amount. And the hope was, oh, hey, we've generated demand for the Sunday. And so it went back to the town and the town fund Sunday. Of course, that's, you know, because why should we? Find somebody else, and that's what they did. So.
Yeah, it is a double edged. I mean, it's nice that there's something out there like that,
Right.
Yeah.
but I think it would be something we do after.
Yeah.
We get the funding from the town.
And I mean, were the businesses very supportive in terms of the relocation project? You know, when we were looking for. Oh, some.
Some, it wasn't a lot, I remember correctly. A lot of our funding was.
You guys lost That's my recollection as well, so,
Oh, the
There's-
donations, yes.
Yeah.
a little more individual.
yeah.
I don't know, it's discouraging that it's select board sent us as another alternative. That to me is basically saying, well, you're never gonna get it from me, so find another way.
And I'm not sure
That
that,
says to me.
I'm not sure that, based on his level of support, I'm
Right.
not sure that that was necessarily the message being
I
sent.
don't think it was. I think he thought he was being outside the box.
Kind of way to do
Right.
things, right?
Like, how can we serve the public? How can we be open for the
Right.
public if this is what we want?
And I get that, but that it has very mixed messages, you know, when you look at, it,
Sure.
well, you're never gonna get it from me, so
Yeah.
Again, it's probably not your intent, but
Right.
kind of the way it came across, so go out
And
and
it
find
was more,
somewhere else. Like,
it was more like, here's a stopgap idea until we're able to establish the hours. But I,
something like that takes time to get up and running and in place. We would never get that up and running before January.
Oh, no.
So by the time we got that up and running, we're at the new budget season anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so, I mean, it's something to.
Yeah. So I'm circling back to what I originally was proposing.
Friends, don't send me.
I guess I want some feedback on whether you think it's beneficial to send a letter to the select board expressing our dismay or disappointment in the process, in the entire process. That we're not being respected, not even being told about, but it's not just us. So that's the thing.
Right.
Or should we just start with our new,
Did they get their backs?
well, like, could be,
Can it be coupled with the request for, clear communication or proactive communication as opposed to, like, hand them kind of a solution to the problem in the phrasing of it?
well, I don't want it to be, I certainly don't want it to be nasty. I don't want to
Right.
shoot ourselves.
With the upcoming
But
budget
there's
cycle.
nothing wrong with saying that we were disappointed in this process. This is a process that we've been going through for so many years. So I wouldn't want it to be antagonistic. I wouldn't want it to be that. I want them to know. But maybe we should just ask for, all right, select board rep. And could you, that's my team's doing. We'd like them at least to look at the YouTube videos of our meetings. We have nothing to hide. And, could you please? So that way somebody can.
Yeah.
We'd like them to come, but I'm sure that if they're all assigned 3 or 4 committees, they're not going to every meeting. And like, but if they watch the YouTube video, got a sense of where we're coming from. Yep. I don't know, what do you guys think? Never get a stipend.
I think you could do a letter very. Just move forward and see what we can do moving forward, but I also give.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, my first thing was like, they need to know.
The one thing the letter does for you is if you need to do a little bit more activism, if you want, a letter helps you on that. So if you say, this is what we sent to the select board, you still don't get a response, then
Right.
actually got a response. Right.
Yeah. And in terms of historical data, like if 5 years from now, somebody, there's a different set of friends over the
Yes.
select board, you would have a documented paper trail of, it's not just me saying it because I've been here 2 years, it's also documented in part of official correspondence and public record. And so therefore, you've got that kind of, obviously, to some wording, but I believe it's probably.
It's just a reiteration. of facts.
Right.
Where-
Just,
where-
yeah, just the facts, no emotion in it,
Right.
except for maybe to say that we were disappointed and discouraged by the process. But, Andrew did send information that was requested, and somehow it never got to the people it should have gotten to. That's a
It
problem.
wasn't to two. Typically should send that information.
Should have forwarded it on and didn't get.
And I asked just expressly, so one of them to send it on, the other typically submit that information to them, and they typically then disseminate it to the. But
It didn't happen. So, and it's discouraging when they're seeing things for the first time 5 minutes before the meeting.
I mean, one of them actually had to have Mike send her the document. Because, and I don't feel that it would been a situation where she just missed it. So she had it then at the meeting, but I mean, you're supposed to go through all of this.
We can't,
and
it's a basic
synthesize.
yeah.
Meeting.
And attend the meeting. So the other thing that I would say is disappointing was that we were told that we could revisit this in the fall. And that at one point, an individual said in the meeting that perhaps the special town meeting isn't the proper venue for bringing this.
After we were told to
After we were
do
told,
it.
let's revisit this in the fall and see what.
And they assumed we were wanting one-time funds. We don't want one-time funds. We want the increase in the estimated receipts was like,
Well, I'm not sure that I understand because that was 117,000 from what I was told. And in the document that was sent to us, only 84,000 of that, maybe 85,000 of that is kind of.
And now I'm hearing that number. Maybe not a real number.
84,000.
Yeah. So. There's that. We weren't asking for one-time funds. That's bad accounting. That's not what you want. But if there is excess levy limit or, estimated receipts were better than they thought they were going to be, that's recurring money.
Sure.
And that's where we were looking for.
Do you want?
Now we gotta move on.
Be forthcoming for people to be transparent.
So anyway, I would love to see a select board member here.
Yeah.
At the very least, at least watch our videos, watch our meetings, and
Yeah, they don't even like I'm trying to say, don't even hear. But literally, half the time.
yeah, but maybe we request a liaison. Who's our liaison? We'd like that person to start getting involved.
Yeah.
We will send you the director's report.
Sure.
Hopefully get to do it, report back to the select
Right,
regularly.
regularly. Yeah, you hope to get a liaison when she wants to be involved. So. Yeah, I don't know where I want to, I don't know whether to do. That or not. I feel like they've moved on from us. Maybe we just, it would not come from Andrew, it would come from us. It would definitely come from us. Andrew's an employee, that's,
Great steps. Why we have the points of time written down and then go from there. So I don't know who would draft it, but
I think I've asked Andrew for a timeline of, when we sent documents, when we were told on the process. I think we were told in that meeting, was executive session. So, but we were told to revisit.
Oh, you're speaking of in the spring?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you first, it was cut out of your budget. We asked for it last spring, right?
yes.
And then we should revisit that in the fall.
Right.
That would start.
I mean, in the past, we weren't even able to get to the revisiting stage. It was, here's the budget.
That was on the select board meeting?
Was it at a select board meeting?
Must have been, when
Mentioned
we were
the-
going through the budget.
revisiting it? Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right.
It was definitely a select board.
All right, so.
It might have been the joint, I don't know if it was a joint, there was one joint FinCom select. board meeting. Regardless, I know.
So
the select board
before-
was there.
Annual town meeting.
I,
So we
yeah. I
have to
think
look at
so.
some videos there.
Yeah.
And, and if it, at least we get to say these things to our liaison, that would be okay too, right?
Mhm.
Say. Then that would also be. All right, well,
Is that the sort of thing, like?
I might need data from you. If I can work around wording it.
Okay.
Just formally how I want to get it, and then we can discuss it. Yeah, and if more time has passed in between it, I might actually take it with my job. And, you know, maybe coming into the budget season, we hope that the process was a little more transparent, a little more sharing of information.
Knowing the personalities, you they would accept the will.
Some of them. Maybe most of them. Yeah, maybe most of them. Depends how you word it. If you come off, yeah, come off accusatory, it's not gonna help at all. Can't do that. But they need to know that we're not okay with it. I think I'll reach out and find out who are supposed to be our liaison. And if they haven't picked one, maybe I'll ask them to pick one at the next meeting. Not saying they need to come to the meetings, but it does say it right. That it's supposed to be selectmen meetings.
It also says that. So we're requesting. Trustees requesting.
Mhm.
Just to circle back, do you want me to attend that FinCon meeting? Or-
I don't think they're gonna talk, I don't think they're gonna talk about it. Yeah, not unless
Unless somebody reached out.
one of them reaches out to you, right? Because
I mean, it's
they
not.
bring it up
it's
at the
not-
FinCom, the FinCom's.
It's,
and when you-
it's not. So, I mean, they said that the FinCom is aware of any articles that have been struck.
I don't
They're
know,
probably, yeah, I don't know.
they haven't met.
There are plenty to discuss, I'm sure. There are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. All right, so,
Yeah, let me know what information.
all right, need a motion to adjourn?
Should we schedule our next meeting?
Oh, yes. that's-
See you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next meeting.
Summer, I guess, right?
Say happy New Year's Eve.
No, yeah.
You guys are busy, you know.
Second, so it's 14th,
I'm good with it.
okay? Motion to adjourn.
So
All right, second. We are adjourned. then.
So it's the 6/14.
6. Going to stop recording. There we go.